Hi guys, this is Zsolt. In today's video we are going to talk about, or it's rather I'm going to talk about the Hyundai Kona electric. My experience after just a bit over 1.5 years and 32,000 kilometers. I'm going to talk about the cons first, then the pros, in my experience at least. And yeah, don't pay any attention for the cleanliness on the outside and in the inside. That's the video is not about that. If you want to watch car cleaning videos, I've got tons of others. Let's roll. Okay, the first con is that there is this, I don't know, not pole, rather whatever it is, stick that you use to fix the hood or bonnet. This car was made in 2020, so you would expect from a car like this, and it's an electric, so should be modern technology and whatever, they could put the struts in it, which cost like, I don't know, like $10 more. And I understand if someone is going to say like, yeah, but this one is the entry level, smallest, lowest spec. But yet, if the manufacturer told me that I need to pay $10 extra, I would definitely pay this $10 extra, so I don't need to do some DIY trickery just to get rid of this stick. The other issue at the front is that it has this cover, this plastic cover for the battery control module. I don't think it would have been much more expensive for the factory to make a frunk or fruit instead of this engine BCM cover, and at least you could have some more useful space in the car. As we are at the front, the factory halogen bulbs or halogen bulbs or lights in the car, in my opinion, are not sufficient. They are also weak. Yeah, it's rather unsafe in my opinion. You can see some, but it's not enough in my opinion. Closing the boot or trunk, it is also cumbersome sometimes because you need to smash it like crazy, otherwise it wouldn't lock properly. And the size of the boot or trunk is not the largest either. Oh yeah, one more thing. There is a little plastic handle over there at which you're supposed to close the door. It is keep falling off. By default, all the doors sounded super hollow when you smash them. Now I cannot show it any longer because there is sound deadening in the doors. Yeah, and in general, the whole car sounds a bit louder compared to like an internal combustion engine car, because the petrol or diesel engines have their own frequencies, own noises, which kind of like kills some of the road noises. And as this one obviously has no internal combustion engine, it cannot kill those road noises. So it sounds a bit louder, even though it's not exactly, it just seems like it is. Well, the reverse camera, as usual, obviously after you wash the car, you go like 10 meters on some sort of dirty road surface and it's covered in all kind of slime and dirt already. I'm not sure where, but I'm pretty sure there could have been another way to put it somewhere else where it's getting less dirty. The leg area at the rear is also not the biggest ever I've seen, but I would say it is slightly larger than it was in the Focus. The volume up and down button is at a very bad place, or not the best location, because every time I reverse, or not every time but many times when I reverse and I steer only with one hand, then I just keep hitting the volume up and down button. I'm going to show you in a more closer up. Yeah, the factory installed head unit is also not really the youngest model. It works fine with no issues, at least I never had any issues with it, but I've seen much better than this one. One more point I don't really like is the internal lights, the map reading light and such. They are not very bright. Of course, you can replace them with LEDs, which ones are much brighter. Also, another con is that due to the size of it, as it's like very boxy, obviously the consumption, the electric consumption is not really the best. It's okay in city, but as soon as you hit 110 kilometers or over, then it starts to grow exponentially and decreasing your range. This particular piece had 2 recalls already. Some other Kona models had more recalls. This was not affected with the battery recall and some other more serious trouble recall. The 2 recalls for this one one was for the BCM, the battery charging module software update, and the other one was for the coolant, the battery and system coolant. They had to kind of like, let's say, wash the system over just to make sure that there are no particles in it. But that was it so far. And the last point that I collected throughout the 32,000 kilometers was that the lane keeping assist sometimes can be a pain in the bum, because sometimes when you are just getting close to the halfway line, it starts to turn the wheel back, even though you don't want to change lane and you don't want to go over the line, but you are very close to it. All right, let's go with the positives. First of all, it's the frunk. You can get a frunk or fruit, and you can put all the things that normally would be at the boot or trunk, and you save all this space over there, which I'm going to show you in a moment. During the holidays, normally I can hide all the clothes for 4 people for a 2 weeks holiday under the the deck level, with all this space in the top still available for any other items. Okay, the next positive item on my list, of which some of you are going to say, how is that positive? It's definitely a negative, is that due to the size of the battery, as it's only 39 kilowatt hours, I am forced to stop anywhere between like 190 and 290 kilometers, depending on speed, weight, weather, season, whatever. I'm forced to stop to recharge, and that makes me to get out of the car, to have a bit of walk around, to go to the loo, to eat and drink. And at the end of a long journey, like a 1,000 kilometers journey, I feel much more relaxed because I had more rest, which you don't really have when, unless you keep stopping. But then what's the difference between stopping with the ICEs or the electric? So yeah, you are not as rested, or not at all, when you drive like, I don't know, 800 or 1,000 kilometers in sort of one go. Okay, the next plus is the instant torque. At 0, you have all the power, 100% of the power. You hit the accelerator and it goes like a bat out of hell. It can save you from any sort of situation. Okay, the next one might be, again, not really a positive thing for many of you, but for me it was, that from relatively small amount of money, you can improve the car's quality significantly to make it much more quiet and to have like more space, or to make it more comfortable. Okay, the next point is, which is one of the most important for me, is that due to the fact that I have solar panels, I can charge at home, and I don't mind to charge it for like over 14 hours when it's almost flat to 100%, is that it's very well, or relatively cheap to charge. Again, as I said, at home. Obviously it's different on a public charger, but you know, again, I don't mind. I plug the car in at like 5 in the afternoon, and I'm going to use it next time like 7:30 in the morning, so I don't care if it is charging all night long. I'm sleeping like a baby. The next point, as we are at sort of finances, is that as it has considerably less amount of parts in it, obviously the chances that those parts go kaput is considerably less, or are considerably less. And even when they do, yes, we would say that maybe they are going to cost that much more, but again, it's so much cheaper to run, especially at the periodic services. It is much cheaper to do these annual services than it was on the Ford Focus, which was still much cheaper than, for example, a Volkswagen. The last item that I put on my list was the lane keeping assist. You might recall that I put it to the con list as well. But regardless of the issue sometimes I experience with it, or the inconvenience rather that I experience with it, in general it is rather helpful when it comes to like arches, curves. It makes it so much easier to just to turn the wheel. It's really effortless to drive. Okay, so all in all, I would say I'm super happy with the car. If you ask me if I would buy it again, the answer is definitely 100% yes. Even though it has less convenience feature than the previous cars I had, or the fact that I had to spend some extra money on it just to make it more comfy or more convenient, I would say I would buy it anytime over those ones. I feel much more relaxed when I'm driving this. I'm not into anymore the changing gears or shifting gears. I used to like it, of course. Even I was like, yeah, clutch, change the gear, yoo-hoo, all the power I've got, let's go. But those days are over. Now what I'm looking for is comfiness. I just put it in drive mode, and then all the way until my final destination I keep it in drive. The auto holds the car at the traffic lights and whatever. I don't need to bother with changing the gear. I just need to enjoy the ride. And even though but even without these extras that I spent on, I would still buy it over any of the internal combustion engine cars I had. Yeah, as I said, it's a nice one. And of course, you need to keep in mind that this one is not a super expensive Mercedes EQC or whatever it is. This one is only a Hyundai, and on the top of it, this one is the lowest spec. You can buy higher spec with larger battery, with more convenient features and more comfortable. But for me also, this one is just fine. It's a car. Anywho, I will put well, not just one, but like a number of links under the video about all these little tunings or extras that I made, so you can have a look yourself. But I would recommend to anyone who's interested in this sort of cars to buy one of these. I can, again, hands on heart recommend it. It's a fun car. Anywho, that concludes this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell so you're not going to miss any of my upcoming videos. I'd like to say a big thank you for your time and catch you on the next one. Bye bye.